Get started. I want to thank everyone for coming out to the February 27th meeting for the Board of Supervisors. We're going to get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will start with a few announcements. Beth is going to talk about the plastic survey.
Yes, we have a single-use plastic survey that's been out. Actually, there are two surveys. We're asking you to take a moment to share your thoughts and opinions by completing a quick survey on single-use plastics. The input is valuable to us as we'll make decisions about future of our community. And so links to both of the surveys, but there's a residential survey for those who live in the township and also those who have businesses. There's a business survey, and those surveys are both available at monttwp.org/SUP. The surveys are open until March 31st of this year.
Thank you. Audrey's going to talk to us about the senior committee.
So the senior committee is happy to announce we have two upcoming programs for residents that are turning 65 in 2023. Presenter Nancy Morris is a state-trained volunteer Medicare counselor with PA Medi. She has been helping Montgomery County Medicare beneficiaries make informed decisions about their Medicare coverage for over a decade. So we hope that folks will come out either Wednesday, March 15th at 1 o'clock or Wednesday, April 19th at 6:30. And information will be posted on the township website.
Sounds like that'll be nice and informative.
Yeah, she does a nice job.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Nothing? Okay. Announcement of executive session.
Thank you very much, Chair. The Board of Supervisors met this evening at 6:40 in person, the Township Building, to discuss one litigation matter. The topics discussed are legitimate subjects of executive session pursuant to the Sunshine Law.
Thank you so much. Number 6 will be our consent agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented for the following: the minutes of the February 13th, 2023 board meeting and the payment of the bills for February 27th, 2023.
So moved.
Second. Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. We have an introduction tonight, a volunteer committee applicant, Mr. Frank Mullen. Carolyn's going to take care of that.
Thank you. We have received an email from Mr. Mullen asking the board to consider appointing him to the Finance Committee. In your packet, you have his resume as well as his volunteer committee application. Mr. Mullen is here tonight to introduce himself and to answer any questions you might have, and staff is recommending that you appoint him to the Finance Committee.
Come on up. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me here tonight. I volunteered to join the Finance Committee. I'm friends with the chairman of the committee, Andy Hatstad, who's with me here tonight. I've lived in the township for about 10 years, although I moved away for a bit and come back a couple of years ago. I have a 30-plus year career in finance and accounting. I'm a certified public accountant. I've worked for several large and medium-sized corporations, as well as started a career in public accounting right in my early days. I'm at a point in my career and in my life where I want to do something for the township, just to get involved. My children are grown. They both lived in the township, went to North Penn schools. So I'd like to give back a little bit and understand how the government works where we live. So that's why I'm here.
Appreciate that.
Any
Awesome.
questions for me? Or
I see you went to Villanova University.
I did.
Fellow Wildcat.
Yes,
Same
it's
era
Wild-
too.
yes.
We were at college at the same time.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. You're very qualified.
Thank you.
Thank you for wanting to volunteer and, leave your family, whatever, one night a month, two nights,
That's great.
whatever. We do appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm going to move to appoint Frank Mullen to the Finance Committee for the remainder of the term, which expires on January 1st, 2024.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
You're free to leave if you'd like. You don't need to stay.
We do appreciate your
Yes.
time.
He did say he wants to know how
All
local
right.
government
then
works.
You're free to stay.
We have review of a zoning hearing board application. Mary Ann, sitting up here for the first time. We're so happy to have you up
Much
here.
different view, yes. In your packet is a summary of the application before the zoning hearing board at this upcoming Wednesday's meeting. It's one application for 130 Primrose Court. It's for a whole house generator, proposing 10 feet from the side property line where a minimum of 15 is required. You can remain neutral on the applications and let the zoning hearing board render a decision based on their testimony presented, or you may send the solicitor's office to oppose an application, and this action would require a motion, second, and vote of the board.
Anybody have any strong feelings?
I think we remain neutral on that.
Neutral.
Yeah, neutral. The zoning hearing board can take care of that.
All right. So we do not need to do anything, correct?
Correct.
All right. Thank you, Mary Ann. Next thing is, again, Mary Ann, for Mary Mother of the Redeemer, waiving one of the fees for them.
We received a letter from Monsignor John T. Conway of the Mary Mother of the Redeemer Church, requesting that the township consider waiving the permit fees for the replacement of shingles on the Catholic Education Center gym roof. The cost for the project is $47,855. The board has waived permit fees in the past for this organization. The fees are calculated to be $679.50 for this roofing project.
Anybody feel strongly one way or the other? I know we've done this for any of the religious buildings in the township, communities.
I don't have an objection.
I don't have an objection.
No?
No objection.
All right. I'm going to move to waive the fees associated with the building permit for the roof replacement on the Catholic Education Center gym roof at the Mary Mother of the Redeemer Church.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then you've got one last one. Resolution for Act 537, Plan Revision, 311 Stump Road. Carolyn.
Thank you. The township received a request from Shannon Drosnock, who is the director of the Montgomery Township Municipal Sewer Authority, regarding the property 311 Stump Road and allowing them to connect to the public sewer system. This property did have a fire, which in addition to destroying the dwelling, also destroyed the septic system on site, and DEP is willing to allow a one-off emergency connection approval, but they require the board to adopt the amended resolution, which is in your packet.
So will this remain like this, Carolyn, or once they?
No, this
do all-
parcel will remain tied into public sewer.
It will always.
But they need
okay.
to re-rate the pumping station at Higher Rock, which is across the street. So that's why we need to have the resolution for the plan revision. Once it's tied in, it will remain tied in with that parcel.
Anybody have any questions? I'm fine with it.
Looks fine.
I move to adopt resolution number 2023-04, amending the Act 537 plan to re-rate the capacity of the existing Higher Rock sewage pumping station, allowing for the sanitary sewer connection for 311 Stump Road.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we'll do our public safety things, and this one is going to go to Fire Chief Bill Wegman.
Good evening. The Fire Department of Montgomery Township is required to advise the Board of Supervisors on an annual basis in advance of planning fundraising activities in accordance with the fire service agreement dated February 14th, 2022. Expenditures of monies obtained through fundraising or for non-township tax revenues shall be in accordance with the approved budget or any budgetary amendments made by the FDMT or represent a reasonable expenditure necessary to conduct or provide fire protective services. The FDMT is seeking the board's approval of its planned fundraising activities for 2023. The following FDMT fundraising activities are proposed for 2023. Residential fundraising mailer in the winter, business fundraising mailer in the summer, car washes in the fall, and dine and donate events throughout the year. The township has budgeted $10,000 for the FDMT fundraising activities for 2023. There would be no additional impact on the township's budget. There would be a positive impact on the FDMT budget for the money collected through the FDMT's fundraising activities. It is the recommendation of staff that the Board of Supervisors approve the 2023 planned fundraising activities for the Fire Department of Montgomery Township.
How much do you guys usually raise in fundraising?
I would defer to Bill Tuttle. He's our financial secretary.
Just curious.
Overall, between the two males, which are our biggest fundraisers, we probably raise about $70,000.
Oh, nice.
It's a good ROI.
Mm-hmm.
And the car wash?
The car wash, it's more a community event than it is a fundraiser. We might raise $1,700, $2,000.
Nice. Good. Anything we can do to help? Everybody good with this?
Mhm.
I'm going to move to approve the 2023 planned fundraising activities of the FDMT.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have a swearing in of a new FDMT Special Fire Police Officer, Christopher Mamrell. The only reason we have people in our audience tonight. Again, we'll turn that over to Bill.
Mr. Christopher Mamrell recently joined the Fire Department of Montgomery Township. He's being nominated by the FDMT to be appointed as a Special Fire Police Officer under the Pennsylvania State Fire Police Statute. Under this law, before applicants can perform the duties of Special Fire Police Officers, the nominated candidates must be confirmed by the Board of Supervisors and sworn in by the chairperson of the board. Mr. Mamrell has been interviewed by Lieutenant Doherty of the Montgomery Township Police Department, and based on all the information, Lieutenant Doherty believes that Mr. Mamrell has the understanding and ability to perform the duties of Special Fire Police Officer in Montgomery Township. Mr. Mamrell recently completed a 16-hour course in basic fire police training through the Bucks County Public Safety Training Center. It is the recommendation of staff that the Board of Supervisors appoint Mr. Mamrell to the position of Special Fire Police Officer effective February 27, 2023, and welcome him to Montgomery Township.
I think someone important went on a potty break, so maybe we're going to wait. Do the motion. All right, do the motion first. I'm going to move to appoint Mr. Mamrell to the position of Special Fire Police Officer effective February 27, 2023, and welcome him to Montgomery Township.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Sorry.
I, Christopher Mamrell, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Christopher Mamrell, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will enforce the laws of the Commonwealth
and that I will enforce the laws of the Commonwealth
and the ordinances of Montgomery Township,
and the ordinances of Montgomery Township,
and that I will discharge the duties of Special Fire Police Officer with fidelity.
and that I will discharge the duties of Special Fire Police Officer with fidelity.
Hold it down. You're covering your face too.
Cute.
God, so cute. It's totally normal. So cute. You were wishing. Oh, they were so intent changing as he's saying. Totally. 3 times. That's so sweet. But I wouldn't change anything. You know? Roommates. Told you should have liked your door. But 3 times. That's why we kept it.
Thank you so much. Congratulations again.
There goes the audience.
Mhm. All right, moving right along, number 13. We're going to replace the K9 kennel doors. I'm gonna throw that over to Chief Bendig.
Good evening. In 2023, the Public Works Department is scheduled to replace 2 of the steel entry doors to the kennel. Now, these are the original doors, about 28 years old. These doors were approved for replacement in the 2023 capital investment plan. Attached is a quote dated February 13th from K&J Door Service to furnish and install 2 new hollow metal doors in the kennel at a total cost of $6,875. This equipment meets the specifications prepared by the department. A total of $6,500 was included in the capital investment plan for this year for the replacement of these doors. It is recommended the board approve the purchase of the doors per the capital investment plan.
Well, hopefully these will last another 20 years, right?
I hope so.
And we can actually get them, right?
Yes.
How about it? I'm going to move to approve the purchase of K9 kennel doors from KJ Door Services Incorporated at a total cost of $6,875 per their quote dated February 13th, 2023.
Second.
Any public comment? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay.
Ooh, treadmill.
Yeah, going over to Floyd now for the new treadmills.
Good evening, everybody. 2023 marks the beginning of the 8th year of operation at the Community Recreation Center. The fitness center was furnished exclusively with life fitness, cardio, and strength equipment. The most popular and highly utilized pieces of equipment are the treadmills. They're also the first to start to wear out. Typically, the lifespan of treadmills are between 7 and 10 years. Our current treadmills have service as well. Attached are the image and description of the 6 proposed replacement machines. The cost of the cardio pieces has been quoted by Life Fitness in the amount of $31,323.90. The figure includes freight, fuel, and installation of the equipment. The merchandise purchase would be completed through the PA's CoStar's contract 014E22268 and May 2023 delivery date has been requested. Our capital investment plan this year has a $30,000 fitness equipment approval budget. Staff recommends that the Board of Supervisors approve the purchase and installation of 6 Life Fitness Aspire treadmills in the amount of $31,2390 under the PA Start contract. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So are they in stock? Will we actually get them in May?
All I can say is that our sales representative is extremely excited or anxious to get a check for these. So I'm guessing that they're probably available. Yeah, go figure. But we'll see. Life Fitness has treated me well for way too many years in what the equipment they bought, and I actually was involved in some respects when these were purchased the original ones here because we had the same things in Bethlehem Township. And until they prove me wrong, it's the best fitness equipment I've seen. So
Great.
used to be able to trade them back in. They'll go on municipal bid like many things. So they're in good shape. I think we'll do reasonably well. Either somebody in a private home or even a commercial place because they're operable and in good shape. But they start to break now.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody have any questions? We're all good? I'm going to move to approve the purchase of 6 new treadmills for the Montgomery Township Community and Recreation Center from Life Fitness in the amount of $31,323.90. The acquisition will take place under the PA CoStarz contract number 014E22268. Here a second?
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Going on to Public Works. We're buying a lot of strange things tonight. We had to look some of them up. At least we got
They're not trucks.
an
though.
idea of what they are. So item number 15, we're going to purchase a new plasma cutter. Throw these all over to you, Greg.
I'll have to Google that.
Okay, good evening. In 2023, the Public Works Department is scheduled to purchase a new plasma cutter. The unit will be used to cut various metals for fabrication projects and was approved in the 2023 Capital Investment Plan. Attached is a quote dated January 18th of 2023 from Wilson Products to provide the requested plasma cutter at a total cost of $3,261.35. The equipment meets the specifications prepared by the department. A total of $5,000 was included in the 2023 capital investment plan for the purchase of a plasma cutter. So it would be our recommendation that the Board of Supervisors approves the purchase per the 2023 capital investment plan.
You girls are looking it up. What is
I
it?
am.
I wanted to know
What
what it
is
looked
it?
like. I'm like, what does a plasma cutter look like?
It's something that's a little bit bigger than this. It looks like a metal box and it has a cord to it. There you go.
Here
It's
it
a little
is.
bit smaller than a welder.
Yeah.
But it's used for cutting various metals. We try to do as much fabrication in-house as we can.
So it's like
so
a heat something.
It does. It cuts it.
Okay.
It's a lot safer than using the torch. We use a torch on the thicker metals, but this will be used. We do a lot of fabrications on our, not this year too much, but snow plows, which we're totally fine with.
Yeah.
But any type of fabricating, we would use that for cutting out the different pieces that we would fabricate.
So other than the plow trucks, what other projects have you used them on in
We
the
would
past?
use it many different applications. It would be done in the parks, different projects for the parks. We'd be able to use it. Anything
So
that
it's portable. You can take it out and
Yeah.
about. You know, it's not
Yeah.
like it's a fixed.
it would
piece that
it
only
would
works
pretty
in the
much be
shop.
in the shop. I mean, it's primarily it would be used in the shop.
Okay.
So we would be able to cut out any of the metal, different things that we've done. We've had to make rebar cages when we do piers and like that kind of stuff. You can use that for cutting the rebar. It's a lot faster, and it is a safer cutting technique.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
This one has a handle, so it is portable.
I'm going to move to approve the purchase of the plasma cutter from Wilson Products at a total cost of $3,261.35 per their quote dated January 18th, 2023.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. All right. We're gonna Google this one too.
You Google on the next one. We're going to purchase a whacker.
Just throw it over.
Yep.
All right.
Tell us all about it.
Tell us about this next one.
Okay, so in 2023, the Public Works Department is scheduled to purchase it's a vibratory plate. It's a compactor. It is approved in the 2023 capital investment plan. The plate will be replacing a 2008 model. It is used for compacting material and preparing areas for concrete and blacktop. Attached is a quote dated January 16th, 2023, from Beardsley for a total cost of $2,558. The equipment does meet the specifications prepared by the department. A total of $3,000 was included in the 2023 capital investment plan to purchase the new vibratory plate. So it would be our,
Whacker vibratory.
that's the actual
That's the
name
brand.
of
name,
it.
that's
That's
the
the
brand.
brand name
I
of it.
just, I'm repeating what is in
That is
the
correct.
best.
That is correct. So it would be our recommendation at this time that the Board of Supervisors approves the purchase as per the 2023 capital investment plan.
Looks legit.
It's very fine looking whacker vibratory.
And it's from a nice local company, so that
Yes.
makes me happy.
All
A
right.
company in Telford.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
What will happen with the 2008 model? Is that something that we're gonna sell or is it gone?
It's
For a second.
it's still there. It'll probably either go to municipal or we'll be able to steal some of the parts off of it
Okay.
Oh,
um,
true.
Great.
and use it with one of the other ones that we have.
Sorry, I'm lucky enough to be married to a contractor, so all of these things, no big deal to me. I
you
see
have-
where you're
Do
going
you
with
have a
it.
whacker? Do you have one of these in your garage?
Not in the garage.
Dear God. All right, we're moving on now. I'm gonna
You asked
move.
for it.
We hope.
No, I'm gonna make the motion.
Okay.
I'm gonna move to approve the purchase of one Whacker vibratory plate from Beardsley Limited at a total cost of $2,558 per their quote dated January 16th, 2023.
Second.
Any public comment? No. All in favor?
I.
Sorry that we're acting so
Greg's turning
childish
red.
tonight. A nice safe thing would be the bollard lights that we're gonna talk about next.
Yes. Okay. In 2023, the Public Works Department is scheduled to purchase new bollard lighting to line the pathway into the administration building and along the path to the gazebo. The lighting was approved in the 2023 capital investment plan. 3 prices were obtained for the lighting from separate vendors. City Electric Supply quoted the best price. Attached is the quote dated February 16th of 2023 from City Electric Supply to provide the requested lighting at a total cost of $9,660. The equipment meets the specifications prepared by the department. A total of $11,000 was scheduled in 2023 in the capital investment plan for the purchase of the bollard lights. So again, it would be our recommendation that the Board of Supervisors approve the purchase per the 2023 capital investment plan.
Greg, can you share where they're going to be installed?
They will be all along the front, along the sidewalk. They're all LED, so it's
Yeah.
going to be,
These ones that can be colored? No,
what's that?
I'm mistaken on something.
No, they're 43 inches high.
Yes.
So that's a pretty good size. And so the bollards they're gonna be substantial so that a car couldn't drive through them, right? It's like a standard bollard, but it's also going to
No,
include
it's just for they call it a bollard light just because of the style of the light.
oh, okay.
So it's just it'll be along the walkway.
So outside of the illumination that they're providing, and safety in terms of when it's dark outside for people walking along the sidewalk there's no other safety feature associated with these.
No,
No. Okay.
no, they're just for the lighting, strictly
So
lighting
it's pathway
purposes.
lighting
Yes,
and also to the gazebo. it
down to the
says here.
gazebo as
Okay,
well,
good.
because a lot of the lights, the bases that they're mounted to, they're starting to fail, so they're starting to lean. And again, it's part of the plan for us to switch things over to LED where possible for savings for the township as well.
And it's another nice local vendor, correct? They're right
Yes,
here.
yeah, they're right next door to the shop.
That's great.
Fantastic.
Okay, I'm gonna move to approve the purchase of bollard lights from City Electric Supply at a total cost of $9,660 per their quote dated February 16th, 2023.
Second.
Public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Bid for lawn field care treatment.
Yes. Included in the 2023 budget is athletic field fertilizer treatment, which would include pre and post emergent for broadleaf weed control and liquid fertilizer to be applied to all the township owned parks, the administration and CRC buildings. Competitive bids will be solicited using pen bids. This project was included in the 2023 budget for athletic field fertilizing treatment. Again, it would be our recommendation that the Board of Supervisors approves the authorization for the advertisement of the bid.
Sounds reasonable. Anybody have any questions? I'm going to move to authorize the advertisement of the bid for 2023 lawn and athletic field fertilizer treatment utilizing pen bid.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
New business, department reports. I think everyone got to read. Anybody have any questions for any of the department heads on anything specific? No, everyone's doing a great job. Give a report. No. Departments, police and fire. Do you guys want to give any reports?
Sure, I'd love to.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I don't want to leave you out either.
Defer to my elder, you know. Fire, just kidding. Fires, we've been pretty busy since the beginning of the year. One of the things that we have been working through with the county is starting a youthful fire setter intervention program. So our department was granted the ability by the state to host the training, which required the National Fire Academy to come in and host this training. The reason why it was so beneficial is that typically you have to send people to the National Fire Academy in Maryland to take the training, but we were granted the ability to host it at our station because we're starting this intervention program. So there were students from all over Montgomery County. We had 25 students. We were kind of selective in who we picked so that we could reach all the different geographical locations in the county. And since that time, we've met to continue moving forward with starting this youthful fire setter intervention program. So we're currently working with juvenile probation, children and youth, the DA's office, all these different county entities to get the juvenile fire setter program up and running in the county. So that's been pretty exciting to be a part of, and us in Norristown Fire have really been spearheading this initiative. As you're aware, our drone program, emergency management drone program, is sort of launching. No pun intended. But we have training next Thursday and Friday for drone training. So hopefully, once the training's done, the chief will be able to start. We can race from each station, see who can get there faster. It'll be fun. But we have several departments involved in the drone training. I think there's representatives from every department. And we have the University of Delaware coming in to facilitate that training. We're working with the Volunteer Medical Service Corps to get our QRS program up and running, and that's a quick response service. So last year, the career staff went through their EMT certification with Jefferson, and now the second part of this is to start a QRS program. So the career staff, and if the volunteers choose to, will respond on priority 1 calls during the day for the medical service. So anything cardiac arrest, which we already respond on, chokings, children calls, unconscious people, the fire company will be dispatched and will get there, hopefully to assist the Volunteer Medical Service Corps. And we've been doing a lot of emergency management things lately. We've continued to work on our continuity operations planning. Township staff is focusing on training this year so that we can start doing some larger emergency management training. The chief and I met with the county 2 weeks ago to plan out a tabletop exercise for this fall. So you all be invited to witness this tabletop exercise. They'll really focus not so much on higher level decision making, like department head decision making, but I think the chief and I's goal is to get the mid-level supervisors, the new sergeants at police, and the younger guys at the fire department involved in some emergency management. So that's what we've been working on.
Sounds great. Thank you.
I'm going to focus tonight on our hiring process. I think that'd be a good thing to discuss. Obviously, you have our statistical information from the last month. Earlier in January, we began the hiring process to replace Officer Dunlap, who is retiring after 40 years with the department. And we also had a vacancy to fill, so we're looking to hire 2 officers for the department. So we partner with the consortium, Montgomery County Consortium, to enter a hiring process. 19 municipalities entered into this consortium to hire. We gave 2 different tests. We gave tests on 2 different dates. We've been trying really hard to generate interest in the field. So we did a lot of outreach to colleges, to different locations, pushing it on billboards on 76 and on the Turnpike. So we even tried to change things up. We thought maybe giving a test at night would be helpful in case people couldn't be there. So we gave a Thursday night test and we gave a Saturday morning test. We had a total of 159 people sign up for the entire consortium, which is it's really unfortunate to say the least. You're just not seeing candidates that want to be doing this job anymore, unfortunately. After that, we had a physical agility test where we were whittled down to about 100 people that actually were eligible to take the test or actually to go through the interview process. 79 of them passed the physical agility. We scheduled up 46 interviews for our department. We had 11 people that did not show.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Which is just, again, it's just really, I've never seen that before. It's very fortunate. I had an excellent board. My 2 lieutenants, new 2 sergeants, and one of my younger officers were on the board. So we did 35 interviews total. We were able to, at this point in time, we whittled it down to 4 candidates is where we are right now, and they are entering the background investigation. That background investigation will consist of a polygraph, which has already been administered, as well as an in-depth investigation into the individual's background. By the time we get done this, there will be a public safety board piece of that component of the hiring process where we'll bring the top candidates before the public safety committee for an interview. Once that is completed, then we will actually extend a conditional offer to the individuals, and then they will have to go through a various medical, psychological, and drug testing before they will actually be brought before the board for swearing in. So we are hoping that we will be able to find 2 candidates for these positions. I'm hoping. Again, our standards are quite high. I will say that. I think we've always kept a very high standard. We will want to hire the best possible people. We can make great people, great police officers, but we're not just going to settle. The reason we've been able to hold our standards so high is because we hire people of high quality and character. And that's why, knock on wood, we don't have the issues that I've seen other departments that we've seen in the news lately. Some of the issues that have had in their organizations. So if we're not going to get the people that do not meet our standards, we will go back to the drawing board and start over again. But again, we are not going to reduce our standards just to fill a position. That's just not going to happen as long as I am here. So that's where we stand. I will continue to update the board and Carolyn as to where we are, but we are hoping that we'll be able to have 2 real qualified candidates brought before the board, hopefully within the next few months, as long as everything does work out. So.
Chief Plandick, is this I know we're hiring for 2 individuals, but is this to beyond filling Officer Dunlap's, I guess, position? Was it also to fill the other new position that we had talked about?
So if you remember earlier, yes, that is the case. We restructured the department. We found that last year we spent a lot of time in training And one of the issues that we had a concern about is that we were pulling individuals off the street for training purposes. So what we decided to do is we've structured a new position, a professional standards position, which incorporates a lot of things, one of which is training. So our goal is, instead of bringing people to the trainer, we'll bring the trainer to the officer. So if we have a staff of, say, 6 on during a certain shift, that the professional standards officer will be able to more or less pull that officer off and do training individual one-on-one basis. So we maintain that level of staffing on the street. That's one of the bigger reasons why we've decided to do that. The professional standards officer will also handle accreditation. So with that movement, that left a vacancy in the division. So we actually had one piece to fill there as well. So with Officer Dunlap leaving and that vacancy, that's the reason for
Those are the two.
the two vacancies. Correct, ma'am.
Did we already make that promotion into the new training position?
Yes. So it was Detective Sergeant Davis. Actually, Sergeant Davis will now be handling the professional standards position. I took this opportunity, knowing that there'll be changes in the future in the organization, to do as much as I can to build the resume of other supervisors within the organization and give them opportunities to grow. So what we did is we opened up the opportunity to do a rotation in the detective division as a detective sergeant. So I have 2 sergeants that are going to do actually a 1-year rotation in the detective division, running that division. So that when the time comes that when I walk away and we have to move some pieces around, then each of the individuals that will be eligible for the next position, possibly a command staff position, will have the resume to do what they can, hopefully be the best possible candidates.
That's great succession planning. Thank
So
you.
yes,
Thanks for the high standards, always.
do my best, ma'am.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a total at the 19 municipalities that participated in the consortium? How many officers overall they're looking for?
Cheltenham 5, Upper Moreland 1, Hatboro 1, Hatfield 2, 1, 2. My gosh, it's
No.
yeah, it's quite incredible to see the amount of people that are walking away from the profession and the amount of people we're trying to fill in the profession.
All right. Well, thank you for the updates. We're going to have a discussion about the permissibility of temporary pop-up sales within the township. Carolyn?
Thank you. Recently, Mary Ann and I had an opportunity to meet with Judy Stern Goldstein, our planning consultant, to review potential updates to our zoning code. And during the meeting, Mary Ann noted that our special events ordinance may need to be updated to clarify our position regarding pop-up sales and to remove any ambiguity. The ordinance is in the packet, and Mary Ann is going to explain the enforceability issues that we're currently having with it. This would be the flowers that pop up for Mother's Day weekend or Easter. When the Eagles move further than anybody expects, you suddenly have pop-up tents with people selling gear. And normally a zoning enforcement notice, people have 30 days to either come into compliance or to appeal the notification that they receive from the zoning officer. They can go to the zoning hearing board. Obviously, a pop-up sale is gone, so, and we do not have code enforcement operating on the weekends. So there are some issues, and Mary Ann can speak to it better than I can.
So, for years, we have always said when we get the phone call, can we do the pop-up tents? We've said outdoor sales are not permitted. And then they usually just kind of go to another municipality. But when you read the actual ordinance, it does allow it with a temporary retail sales license with 2 weeks notice. And for the property, that property can only have 6 events per year, whether they choose to allow a pop-up tent, another merchant to come in, or utilize it for their own sidewalk sales. So we just wanted clarification on how you feel about the pop-up tents, and do we need to tighten this up? Do you want to limit the number per year, per property, the hours of operation, that type of event, how many tents they can have, how much spaces they can, parking spaces they would take? Normally it's at the corners and intersections that they want. Just want to get an idea on your feeling on the pop-up
How,
tents.
I'm sorry, would this include food sales or only like like non-food sales, or because I know we were talking about with food trucks.
Food trucks.
Is there
You already
overlap?
did something for food trucks. You limited their, where they can be in, a prior ordinance. So this is really for the pop-up sales, like flowers, like sports memorabilia, that type of thing.
So there's a clear distinction and there's no overlap between these two.
No.
I mean, we do have businesses who'll have a special event with a food truck, and we include that within the special event for that business. But as far as a pop-up food truck, they would have to follow the mobile vendor
They would have
guidelines.
So in essence, the pop-ups can be hurting the businesses that are in our township. You know, like those people that were buying stuff for the Eagles weren't shopping at Dick's, weren't shopping.
That's the position that prior boards have taken. It's my understanding that they felt that these pop-up sales of, just whether it's for a weekend or a single day, are taking away from the bricks and mortar establishments that are already paying property taxes and mercantile taxes. But again, it gets down to the enforceability of it. If somebody were to call on a Monday and say there was somebody there on Sunday selling flowers at the gas station, then they're gone. So we don't want to rewrite the ordinance and not have it be enforceable. At the same time, we wanted to make sure that we are following the desire of the board. There is going to be a number of changes we're going to be proposing in the ordinance because of things like ambiguities or because things have changed, in the township. But before we start really diving in on this particular matter, I wanted to bring it to the board tonight and just get your feedback on it.
I guess I feel like bricks and mortar is such a hard thing for a business to have right now. If the ones that are here and are choosing to be here, I do think that we should protect them in whatever way we can. Anyone have any other thoughts?
I also see F deals with fireworks, so we may need to kind of relate back to our other ordinance with
Exactly.
the fireworks displays as well. Yeah, I could see that happening in late June.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have a brick and mortar fireworks store, like it or not.
Correct.
I would also be concerned about the traffic hazard, that it might pose in a particular area. And, it's not like you're going to be able to do a traffic study on the impact that it would have if a pop-up, merchant were to go in place and attract a lot of vehicular traffic over a short period of time. Part of me is, we should be open-minded, but then again, I do want to protect our businesses who have invested in, the brick and mortar location. I mean, they have to spend so much and pay so much more over time to the township that I do feel like their interests should be protected in this. I'm trying to think through what possible scenario exists wherein, we'd be denying our community or our residents some access to some goods or merchandise, easy access to goods or merchandise that they wouldn't already have in our community.
Does this like Christmas trees, like Christmas time when you have the Christmas trees?
That's a separate outside
Separate.
sales. It is a special event as well, but it's a separate outside sales. That's allowed with specific guidelines.
Could we?
But keep in mind, even if the pop-up tent, they wouldn't need the property owner's permission. And that property owner is only allowed 6 events per year. So if he wants to give one up to an outside vendor, that would be up to him and his choice. And they do need 2 weeks notice to submit temporary retail license as well.
And some are going to just happen and go under the radar and show up on a Saturday and leave on a Sunday, correct? There's not a lot we're going to do about it. Or are we?
I mean, currently over the years, we've just said we don't allow them. And I think we've been pretty fortunate. They haven't been popping up. I've seen them in surrounding communities. So it's really up to how we want to proceed. If we want to continue to say it's not something we allow, or we want to tighten up the special event permit with restrictions, or tighten it up to pretty much say they're not permitted.
And this wouldn't affect like Girl Scout cookie sales or popcorn Boy Scout sales, things like that.
No, I don't think so. They're usually right and sitting in front of the store. They're not at the intersections with the big
Right,
tents.
usually that's like
Yeah.
at an entrance.
Is it
Taunting me.
Is it like too much work if we figured out how to say a pop-up would be welcome if it's not something we already have.
Yeah, but how do you manage that?
I don't
How do
know,
you-
but,
Yeah.
It'd be hard to,
I don't know that we can enforce that. And
we should
I-
define it by use.
Mhm.
And it would be hard to do,
you can prohibit them. You can
Mhm.
say that, you know, a property owner cannot have an outdoor sale that's not theirs, meaning, you know, if it's not that business selling something on the exterior, you know, that doesn't matter whether they give permission or not, it can't be allowed. You can just say no pop-up sales at all that are not related to that business. And then that would solve that. The idea though is you need to understand that enforceability, you know, the police could be made aware of it. They could always pull up and tell the gentleman or the woman that, you know, this isn't permitted, but there's not going to be a code enforcement action until that Monday. And
Monday.
if they're gone, then they're gone.
Right.
Can I ask a question? So in Lower Gwinnett, they used to have Pike Fest and they would close down 309. So Bethlehem Pike was actually closed. They had vendors come out and set up tents and they sold merchandise. Similar, I guess it would in somewhat similar to the craft show that we're doing at the rec center, but it was, you know, they closed the street down and there were lots of
It was fun, yeah.
pop-up tents. It was great. Yeah, great event, really well attended, with lots of different vendors that came in and sold merchandise. And then all the merchants also along Bethlehem Pike did sidewalk sales in coordination with the event to take advantage of all that foot traffic. And a lot of them did very well. I can think of, you know, Born to Run, you know, their running shoe store. They did a great sidewalk sale and just always did very well with that event. Would tightening this up prevent something like that, prevent us from doing something like that in the future?
I don't think so. If it's hosted by a business in this township, each vendor would get a temporary retail license for the event. We're looking more to just the ones who pop up over the weekend for Mother's Day, Easter, Eagles, and then they disappear. And the permit would only allow them to be, it's a 7-day increments for those. I think if like the mall wanted to host a craft fair, they could do so. They're the host and all the business within the township.
I think we should tighten it up then.
I'm okay with it. You are absolutely welcome to make public comment. Oh, I'm sorry, I
It's
didn't mean to
fine.
answer
Yeah,
the-
yeah, come on up.
Hi, good evening. Andrew Hatstead. I live on Veronica Lane in the township. I'm here incidentally, but this is an interesting topic to me. And it seems like you guys are sort of in agreement, but as a member of the township, I thought it might be interesting to hear an alternative viewpoint. Me personally, I think pop-up tents and sales are great and we should have more of them and we should be encouraging more on the township property. So for example, one of the things you talked about was protecting Dick's from competition. Dick's is a huge multi-million-dollar company. I don't think they need protection from some mom and pop tent sales that's going to come up once a year, maybe once every 10 years when the Eagles do well. Effectively, these are small businesses that are trying to make a living. I mean, really, this is the American dream, right? So you don't want to come out against a mom and pop business just trying to make it work. I think really the opposite. On top of that, if these people are operating on property, supposedly the business owner is already paying property tax, right? So there's not really a loss of property tax revenue that you're missing out on. It's just the business owner is making better use of their property to generate additional revenue. So for me, competition is good. We should encourage more of it. Helps bring down costs for residents, helps out small businesses. Dick's, they're going to be fine. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hassad.
I don't know. I will follow that with, we have enough empty businesses that again, I feel like we should be protecting the businesses that choose to do business here. I don't want, not that a weekend pop-up is gonna hurt Dick's or Rally House or whoever we want to choose, but they are choosing to be here and they're paying their taxes, and that's how we pay for the services that we provide. So I am still going to say I feel that they do deserve a little bit of protection. I don't know if we can come up with a meeting ground, but
The other thing, observationally, when I've heard, I didn't go to any of those pop-up things, but I heard people talking about it. And they said, number one, that the prices were not good. They were gouging price-wise, and also the quality was not good. So like, what's the recourse when you're like, oh, this shirt actually fell apart after I washed it a week later? They're gone. So there is no quality control. There was no, like, who's minding the shop? Well, the shop's gone. So there is no one minding the shop. So that was, I heard people on like Nextdoor and things like this complaining about the pricing, the quality, and so forth. And yet everyone was so desperate to get their hands on something that they were still buying that overpriced product. And also there was also suspicion that these aren't necessarily mom and pops. They're like these people who have their tentacles out all over the place, and they're finding people who are willing to do this. And it's not necessarily a small business. It's like a conglomerate that is making themselves to look like this because they're taking advantage. And who knows if these people that are working there are probably not the people that are making the real money on this. This was,
well, and they're not collecting taxes. I mean, they're just not following, most of the time they're not following any rules that the rest of us have to follow.
Or if they are collecting taxes, who are they giving it to? Like, do they even submit any of that? There's no oversight. And so I don't know how, I didn't actually go to that, but I have a lot of questions about what they're actually up to and what they're, what's their real background. I don't know. No one knows because they're not around to ask anymore.
Right.
So that just seems to me, it was very suspicious to me. So there, I'm not going to go check it out.
Well, again, I think we're lucky that we have businesses here, and I'd protect them some way. So that was a discussion. I don't know.
So
Do we
make a
have-
decision?
Do you need more?
I
board
just want to
consensus?
make sure I have majority consensus. I'm kind of hearing a mix of things. I mean, you just need to understand that this is just from a zoning perspective. So getting into like quality control, pricing, that's really up to the consumer. Like you said, if someone's desperate enough, they're also going to walk into a bricks and mortar and overpay or possibly go online. This is solely to regulate. If you want to follow prior boards' directives, then we'll tighten up the language to make sure it's clear, and that then staff knows what to tell people when they inquire. But with the understanding that if it is a 24-hour, 48-hour, a zoning enforcement notice is not going to change that. We can still, we're not going to have somebody to send it to. We can send it to the property owner where it occurred and make them aware that they cannot have this unless it's directly related to their business. But I just need the consensus of the majority.
So Karen, let me clarify, or perhaps you could clarify for us. So you're looking for direction on both what merchandise can be sold in these events, and whether or not it has to be related to their business, and how many they have.
No,
per
I'm just
year?
really kind of just.
Or do
we want
Pop-ups in
pop-ups or
general,
not?
pop-ups in general, how do you really feel?
Right, so if it's a special event and we have a procedure for permitting, I honestly
So
don't see
Airport
it.
Square, say they decide that they want to have sidewalk sales, they can
They can do that.
they can do that.
It's a
Yes,
special event
exactly.
for
Yes.
Airport Square.
It's the ones that pop up at you talked about vacant buildings. We have somebody could just pull up in a parking lot with a pickup truck, put some flowers out on Mother's Day and sell them, and then they're gone.
But if they're gonna do it right, they'll come to the township, right now they can get a special event permit and be on that corner.
The
They would technically obtain two permits, the special event permit allowing them on that property for that certain time period, and the temporary retail sales. And that would be in lieu of the business tax. Instead of having to enter in and file business tax, it's a flat fee based on the number of days they're there.
Yeah, so I am not in favor of them.
Okay.
And that's just honestly the only thing that pops up. And I am definitely a person that has stopped at them. But that I always think to myself, it's so dangerous. Every time it just seems like they're at a corner or they're
Yeah.
just someplace. I just never.
Where are they going to park?
Yeah,
People
there's
could
always
get
a
hit,
parking situation. So I
pedestrians.
always have said to myself, I'm so glad we don't have them around here. And it's really just for safety in my head. So.
I grew up in Philly with them all around, so I have a different perspective, but you're the majority, so.
Okay. We'll work on something as part of the overhaul of some of the other issues in our zoning code, and we'll bring it back to the solicitor for review. And then when it's ready, we'll bring it back for the board to consider to authorize an advertisement. Thank you.
Thank you. Good discussion.
Good discussion.
But committee liaison reports, so whoever would like to talk about what's been happening in their committees. We'll start with Audrey.
Nothing. Well, we at the beginning started our meeting with
Yeah.
it. What's coming up? We have a couple of Medicare events that are coming up, and we are still attempting. We put together what I think is a wonderful letter to go out to all of the seniors in the community. So we're just still working on how we get it out. But I think I mentioned last meeting that I was not at January's meeting, but this is just some of the discussion that's been going on in February. So.
Thanks.
For the Environmental Advisory Committee, our big thing right now is considering the single-use plastics. We're trying to get feedback and information from both residents and businesses via a survey, which is we talked about already. But then in terms of the business, we're getting pretty good feedback from residents already. But in terms of businesses, I think that there were 6 responses, and 2 of them were from people within the business development program. So actually the chair of our business development program and I went out to about 7 different businesses just to kind of get our feelers out with businesses to find out, and none of them, and these were to some of the bigger, well, we went to a variety of things, including Giant and Target. We went to Wawa. We went to a couple restaurants over by Costco. Costco doesn't have bags, so we didn't go there. We went to a pizza place and a Asian restaurant, and they none of them were surprised. In fact, they were very supportive. They were all understanding what the rationale was and so forth, and they also saw it as a responsible thing to do with them. So we're going to continue to move around to different businesses to find out and just let them know that this is happening, because I think it's only fair to businesses to give them a fair warning in case this is like I want to get their feedback on things like, you know, what would they do as alternatives, and how much inventory do they have, and how long would it take for them to respond, things like
I was
that.
going to say that because I was talking to someone and they said, just please give us a year notice so that we can run out of the plastic
Exactly.
bags we have now and not order 10,000 new ones.
Correct.
So I think
Correct.
that's really.
And in most cases, they said they have usually a less than a month supply on hand. These are the bigger businesses.
Right.
Now, again, smaller businesses may actually buy in bulk when there's a sale or whatever else. So we're trying to get out to different types of businesses so that we could, you know, and also share some of that information to other businesses as we're learning the process along the way. So that's been a really interesting, also working together with the BDP and the EAC together on that. And then Ready for 100, we also met, and we're putting together some action plans with the help of Carolyn, and making sure that when we're doing different modifications, that we're putting in LEDs and making things that are environmentally responsible and so forth. So rolling all these things together, it's been productive. So, and the other thing that's interesting is that when I've talked to other people about single-use plastics in other townships and municipalities, they're like looking to Montgomery Township. Well, we see you as the leaders in terms of businesses, and so they want to hear what we're doing before they act. They're all kind of in waiting. So I think, have a responsibility to do something on that respect because they're waiting because they want to do the same. And likewise, the school district has heard about this and now they're saying we're going to now start inventorying what we're doing as a school district, which is a huge, I said, that's low hanging fruit because we can make this. So again, just the chatter amongst
That's great.
the municipalities is now impacting the school district. And I think this is how change happens. So I'm really proud of what we're doing and seeing results happen along the way.
Great.
So the Parks Board met and we discussed, what potential initiatives they would like to see us approach. And there was some really great discussion and wonderful ideas that they came to the table with.
That's great.
Yes, it was such a great meeting. And some of the ideas, they ranged in scope. One of the suggestions was, there is a trail that connects the airfields to Windlestray, but it's not particularly well groomed, and they wondered if we could do more. Could we plan and budget for grooming that trail so it's easier to walk and navigate? Because they also said there's not a lot of wayfinding on it at all. It's easy to get lost on that particular trail. I'm looking over at Greg, but that's something that they would love to see, and then they would like for us to also use the website to publish where all of our trails are so that if someone wanted to do some exploring and walking, hiking around our trails, that those would be marked. And I don't know if that's been done yet with our GIS, but that's something that they would love to see and promote. And then they also talked a little bit more about in Windlestray Park how we have these buildings there and how we might redevelop them into educational centers. And so they've been given some homework, and we're encouraging them to actually get out into neighboring communities and take a look at what's being done. Like White Marsh was an example that was given. And because they have a very similar facility, it's something that was in place and historic and was renovated and now serves in that capacity as an educational center. So it was really great discussion. They're going to work on putting to some recommendations after they go and do some additional field research. And so they seemed really enthusiastic about the project. And they're also going to go out and do more of their meetings, not just at the rec center, but out in the parks, especially once the weather warms up.
That's great.
So
Good
there was
idea.
some really good positive momentum, I think, going on there. Let's see, Sewer Authority, they are, they're continuing the wastewater surveillance, and they were excited that they've now added screening for monkeypox to the wastewater surveillance program. It's not been detected, for what it's worth, And the other good news there is that COVID counts are down significantly throughout the township. So that was wonderful to see.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. What do you have?
Mine's nice and easy. We ordered treadmills and both the chiefs spoke, so we're done.
Mine with Planning Commission, we had a really great meeting about Penn Medicine. All the top people from Penn Med were here, gave a great presentation. We recorded it. I think it's pretty much been shared. The Planning Commission was unanimous for it. So looks like a nice project. Anybody have anything else?
We need to get Greg out of here. It's snowing.
Is it snowing?
It's snowing. Yep.
He's checking the weather.
All right. Well, then we should adjourn since it's snowing and everyone needs to get home safely. I'm going to move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody have a great night. Thank you for everything.